The difference between art and sex is perception. Excerpt from Like Hickeys, Like Bruises. My only other lover at the time is Max. Besides Max is Beth, a fine arts student at UC Berkeley whose most current project is taking these super up-close pictures of goldfish in front of a big black backdrop with a shutter remaining open so they get all blurry. She uses digital and blows them up to 24 by 36, making the image monstrous. Just orange curves and captured movements. Sometimes there's an eyeball visible looking back at you. Perhaps a fin caught mid-flap. But the blackness behind is what bothers me, such a fake black, too black. I ask her what it means. She smiles. She says, "Look again." I also take photos with my Pentax K1000. Lately, I've been obsessed with the junk trucks parked around my neighborhood. I enjoy capturing the disparate quality of the rubbish heaped in the back. Bikes, IKEA futons, trash bags, tree branches. The trucks all have handmade wooden sides with numbers and names spray painted on them like a poor person's business card. We meet one day when I was developing my roles in the dark room at the UC campus. She passed me by with one of her gigantic prints and looked into my tray. "Nice," she said. "Perhaps a bit obvious, but nice." I turned to watch her boyish hips move away from me. It was when we were leaving the dark room at the same time, entering that small room that separates the inside from the outside, that it started. As we entered, I asked as a way to avoid that weird silence, "I wonder what this room is called." You can tell a lot by a person when they're faced with a question they don't know the answer to. If they respond as if they do, be careful. Needless to say, Beth said immediately, "I don't know, but I call it the in-between room." "The baby dark room," I replied. "The 7 minutes in heaven room," she answered. "How about the makeout room?" I said. We each were grinning as we moved from darkness to light, and she asked me out right there. On our dates, we usually eat fancy gelato, go to her place, get stoned, fuck, and then watch bad TV. It's perfect. Never lasts more than a few hours. I bike home smelling of her perfumed body in the late evening air. It's all downhill since she lives in some co-op on the north side of the campus. I'm writing all this because Beth taught me two things about art: honesty and perception. The first involves a buck. It's cold this one night. The fog is heavy on the streets and you can see your breath coming from your mouth. Beth just told me that she's going to UCLA for the next semester. "They loved my big fish prints," she says. "They want me to do more." "Really?" I say, not hiding my surprise. She says, "You try too hard. You have to let go." I want to tell her I think her pictures lack soul, lack heart. She says, "I love LA men too." With that, she then tells me to make her come, and I see her eyes looking at me like the goldfish in the dark, like she knows a secret and knows she won't tell me. When I leave, I just take off, not putting on my jacket, so at some point I need to stop and put it on, and then, out of the darkness of some alley or yard, comes this buck. He jumps out. He's big. He snorts. My heart flutters. He's not more than 5 feet from me. I can smell him. Gamey eucalyptus. He looks at me. We stand there looking at each other. His eyes are enormous and he doesn't blink. His antlers are beautiful, like the fingers of an old man lifted up in supplication. He snorts again, shakes his torso the way a dog does, getting water off itself. He trots away into another patch of darkness. No words, no pictures to get in the way, no faux black background, no LA men. Just chance interaction, lingering smell, and the silence left behind. It's honest, truthful. The second thing is about perception. She argued that my writing was too familiar, my pictures too direct. Obfuscation is a word that calls attention to itself in an attempt to avoid something's true nature. It's the antithesis of metaphor. This is at the heart, I think, of Beth's work. It's not about goldfish, you dummy, she finally explained. It's about you. Our last evening together, Beth places her hands on my head, gripping a handful of hair. I feel her pushing me down. Her completely waxed pussy looks at me, supple and smooth, a treat. I smell nothing and taste just a hint of humanness, saltiness. She holds my head there tightly, and I give in. Bury my face and fingers and almost can't breathe. I feel my scalp throbbing. When she finally has an orgasm, she pulls me up and turns around, telling me to fuck her quickly. She only likes intercourse right after she comes. She has trimmed my pubic hair to something just longer than stubble. She'd wax me if I let her, but I don't. My pubes look organized, controlled, almost a perfect square. I don't mind really, but I realize that it works into her aesthetic. She tells me to hurry, tells me to pull out and come on her belly. Hearing her tell me to hurry does the trick. I pull out, rip off the condom. She watches me, her eyes lighting up, big and bulgy. She takes the hand she used to grab my hair and proceeds to rub her palm in my cum. She lifts her hand up and asks, "What do you see?" She whispers this like it's sacred. I say, "Is this a trick question?" And look down at my cock, getting soft and lying there vulnerable against my thigh. "You have no vision," she says, like she's sorry, like I made a mistake. I ask, "Well, what do you see?" She says, "I see getting what I want. I see potential. I see desire." I say, "I see bodily fluids that came from body parts." She sits up, wipes her hand on the sheet, grabs her pants, and says, "As long as you think it's about your cock or sex or anything physical, you will never see the possibilities." I say, "Of what?" She says, "Of art." Thank you.